All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Daddy's Dirty Library for One Piece live action, episode 6, post nut reaction, the chef and the chore boy.
There once was a man named
Big Daddy,
who was king of the pirates. He had fame,
Production,
power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
My fortune is yours for the taking, but you'll have to find it first. I left everything I own in one piece.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for One Piece, the treasure that would make their dreams come true.
Buddy,
Yo!
Yo!
Yeah!
Don't give it up, Luffy. Don't give it up, Zoro. Don't give it up, Nami. Don't give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up. Here's how the story goes. We find out about the treasure in the Grand Line. There's no doubt. The pirate whose eyes on it, he'll sing. I'll be king of the pirates. I'm gonna be king. Yayo, yayo, yayo. What's his name? His name is Luffy. That's Monkey D. Gonna be king of the pirates. He's made of rubber.
How did that happen?
Yo, he took a bite of gum. Yep. His name's Zoro, he's just like a samurai and a L-A-D-Y, Nami's not shy. Usopp's doing that marksman thing. Sanji's cooking, Chopper's doctoring. Yayo, yayo, yayo. Come on. Yayo, yayo, yayo. All the fellas, all the ladies out in race, let me hear you. Yayo, yayo, yayo. Ladies, yayo, yayo, yayo. Yayo, yayo, yayo. Yayo, yayo, yayo. Yayo, yayo, yayo.
One Piece Forever.
The straw hats, they all that. 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 One Piece.
Got guest appearance. My
Hey, neighbor down the street.
yeah.
I got the episode playing right now. Subtitles.
He's
Is that good, man? Get a
Yeah,
yellow tail.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I had that rough outline that like we could try to talk about it, but we're just gonna get taken away by the conversation wherever the fuck it goes. So let's just dive in, y'all. How did y'all like it? Was this a good episode?
I want to hear you guys. You guys are the experts. It's Robert's favorite anime.
No. It's my sixth or seventh favorite. It's Joestar over here. That's his favorite. It's his number one anime of all time.
Don't worry,
Man.
I'm making it his favorite. He's been talking about it nonstop. It's his favorite now. He just
I've
doesn't
been
know.
trying to tell this guy because I didn't watch the anime, but I'm loving how they're adapting every bits and pieces in a live action way, the right way, man. It just feels so good. And I tried telling him because I know he likes getting on that spiel and not wanting to know how the sausage gets made, bull crap. But but it's so important when you get a collective group of people, because these are real people we're talking about now, not cartoons, that they're actors and that you see them together talking, integrating that camaraderie, and you can see it on the screen. Because when I was watching the episode, I'm like, oh man, this is so great. I love the acting. But then I'm seeing them talk after, and I'm like, it makes so much sense how it's just going. It's working.
Yeah. No, I feel you, but it's just you already know how I feel about it. And I'll say
I do, and I hate you.
I don't believe a person who lies for a living to be honest about. So it's like, they're actors, so they pretend to play these roles. So when they put on some, we're actually hanging out after, they might actually be best friends, but I can't trust it, so I just don't put any weight in it. Like
I gotta enter you in a contest to meet the cast.
I would love to. and I'd love to talk to them, but I'll just be like, yo, cameras off. I'm not recording anything. I'll get them super drunk and I'll ask them super personal, invasive questions. Because I like cut through the bullshit. Like, let's get to the real, meat and potatoes and see what's going on. See what's under the surface.
Do it. Break it down, man.
But that being said, I mean,
help.
this episode was great. I love this episode. It was phenomenal. They changed a lot from what was in the anime, but
a big change for me. Yeah, there was a huge change that I felt needed to be in there, but
for the most part, I liked it, and like up to this point, I've liked, I think, just about all the changes that they've made. But the change they made in this one, I'm not so much a fan of. I'm not a big fan, but it still came across as pretty nice, and they threw in some other nice changes that I would say. So I get it.
Yeah.
But
which change was that you didn't like?
I mean, yeah, I guess we could just dive. We'll just skip the goddamn outline. So at the end, I knew we were gonna do that.
I think I know which one you're talking about. The way he left, the way it didn't seem as sincere that he showed his respect to Zeph. Because in the anime, like, they have a little quarrel, beef, like back and forth, but then he bows down crying, saying, "Thank you for everything you guys have done." And then all the chefs and everyone there just like, "Get out of here, you idiot!" And they're all crying at the same time. Like, yeah, like not just one or two guys. It was like the entire Barati was just there, like waving him off. But big differences because Arlong wasn't there, so it's different.
Well, then, what I like to say always when I was telling Robert, it goes with those subtle changes because obviously, I get it. You want to emulate exactly what's the anime, but you gotta remember when you're doing with these actors, they did what they could. So, like, if you try to do an acting performance of a person doing that scene, it's gonna come off very cheesy, and I don't think it would sell as it did. Because you do see what they do with like the chef's crew, and if it's a person who's gonna act and show like emotion, it does it better how he's doing it right now on the boat as opposed to like jumping on my knees and I'm crying. If I'm seeing that, I'm gonna laugh. I'm like, yo, what this is? I don't believe it because it's different from a cartoon.
I get that part, but I'm not so much about it being scene by scene. And I've said this in some previous episodes, like when they did Zoro's backstory, it was different. But I would argue that it was actually better in the live action because the difference were more the way that they did it was more symbolic as opposed to make an actor crying isn't like I'm not expecting an Oscar performance every episode. So I think it's fair to ask that for an actor that's only going to be in the series for like 10 minutes max. Zoro's backstory is not going to come back again. So but the way that they did it with the symbolic changes, I think was significant. And the way they did it with Sanji with the symbolic changes about like, oh, Zeph was shitting down on his dish. He's like, oh, elephant tooth, this is shit. Yeah, I'm gonna demote you. And showcasing that Sanji is such a key element to the Baratie when he's like, well, so-and-so's working out a hangover, you're gonna be doing prep work on your own. And Zeph didn't even think about it. And he's like, oh shit. All right. Yeah, all right. So like they showcased those were good changes. But the big thing about the end was, I mean, maybe it's just the era, right? Like it came from an era time when people or guys weren't as expressive. So the male characters that you saw wouldn't express how they felt. Like in this one, he was just like, well, you got to get out of here because if you don't, then you're never going to be anything. You're never going to be anybody. You're just going to be stuck. In the anime, he didn't say that explicitly. He was just like, he hatched a plan with all the chefs, and Sanji made this big meal, and they're all eating it, and they're like, what the fuck is this? This is disgusting. Who made this shit? I can't fucking eat this.
Yeah, they were like, trying to get him out.
Exactly. So Sanji's like, what are you talking about? And Zeph is like, you know what? I'm tired of your bullshit. You keep not following the rules.
They forced
doing what I tell you to do. Get your ass out of here. I don't need you anymore. And then at the end, it's like Sanji's like, all right, well, fuck y'all then. And he runs out. He's like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna join your crew. Yeah, fuck this. Like, they don't appreciate me anyway. And they're sailing off. And then at that moment, you just see all the chefs just come out and they're just staring at him. And then like he looks at Zeph and Zeph's just looking. And then Sanji, like again, in the live act, like that would have been nice. That part of it would have been nice. He doesn't have to be super expressive on his knees. Thank you so much, Krieger. But just to add that part of it, that was a cooler way of saying it instead of explicitly saying, "Oh yeah, well, this is why I want you to go." It's like, he because they've known each other for this long. It's like, of course, I know this is what he would want, and he should also know what he wants. But if they did it that way, I think it would have been more impactful. But that's not to say that it wasn't a good scene. I think that the way the anime did it, short of the dramatic crying, I think it was better.
Yeah, I like to think when they do the send off with it, from what I'm hearing you say how it is in the anime, I feel like to get that all together, it would have taken too much to film. So you gotta remember the showrunner is like, I gotta make it in a way that fits in this time frame.
Right.
Good, still carries a strong point across, and I'm trying to do enough for the fans that can still see that emotion. So like he picked his battle, so he did that. The way they did the backstory, they showed that scene was great to tie in with that, especially they did it that way with the leg, which I was like, oh my God.
And I would say I think it's better. I think that was better than the anime. The leg thing was better.
The leg thing was adapted off from the manga, which was what they originally had, where Zeph ate his own leg as opposed to cut his leg to save Sanji.
Which makes much more dramatic.
So much more sense than, why did he cut his leg in the middle of water? Like, what?
I felt that, man. That was great. So I think when they piggybacked off of that and they decided to go more along the lines of Zeph just telling him, like, you're quitting by staying, a lot of people are going to relate more to that than the way that they did in the anime. That's more a coy way of like setting it up, where if you're like, oh man, that's great. But people, they want to watch, they're watching something that's linear. They're so used to that. So they want to see it build up that way more. Not saying they wouldn't have enjoyed it. They would have enjoyed it the other way. But I'm thinking of they're trying to get more than just you guys to get hooked.
No, I think in the anime, the reason they didn't have the whole eating the leg thing was, I guess it was more of censorship to cannibalism.
No, I was talking about the end part. I was talking about the end part. Yeah, like the way they did with the anime by saying get out of here, like that. People are more gonna like it the other way that they did it, because they're trying to get that viewership so strong, and they're tying in the emotion. I'm telling you, I was showing it to people like adults that don't even watch cartoon anime, and they were crying from this. Like that setup scene, it was like, whoa! If you, to me, I think that's a testament to the showrunner doing a good job. If you're making an adult who doesn't even like anime, doesn't even watch it, doesn't even know what it means, and they're seeing this episode and then they see the ending and that breakdown, they're like, you see them tears welling up. It's like, man, it's like Robert every time with the animes.
Yeah, I was tearing up in this one too. I was seeing live action.
I'm telling you, man, it was.
No one was crying. Great. Someone was cutting onions in the kitchen. That's all that happened, guys. I don't know what tears you guys speak of.
I'm immune to that now. But no, I mean we may disagree on that, but I think we both agree that it was a beautiful episode, and I think you're right in saying that more people will relate to that. I think it's more so because the society that we live in now, everybody's way more comfortable expressing their emotions, which I think is a benefit. Before, like, everyone's like, oh, just get out of here. Like, I relate to that more because that's how I grew up. But I understand that it's better to.
Of course. I can relate to that. Like, and then like when they're doing like period pieces, like other stuff trying to, like Black Sails, it's going to be more adept to the history. And you gotta remember here, it's live action adaptation of an anime. You got people that are turning the Mr. Fantastic powers. These are other people watching it, so nothing's gonna be as hardcore as realistic as you think. Things are gonna be stretched out.
Actually, so in this part of the series, there's nothing really hardcore that happens, to be honest. So it's following suit when it comes to the action, to be honest. Everything's pretty spot on. Maybe a few things here and there are slightly different.
I like that.
But honestly, like the live action has been following pretty well. And in this episode, one thing I really like to dive into was the fact that Rob mentioned this in an episode before, how they're really diving into Luffy's character as more of a person than a gimmick. Where, you know, he's goofy, he's bouncy, he doesn't really care, but here he sees like, it's my fault that Zoro's going through this, that we're losing this, that Nami got taken away. Like, you see that character development, and it's like, wow, that's a real person, like, that I could vibe with the idea.
That's what I'm saying. They're really trying to get you.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
Shout out to what Jacob was saying before, like the showrunner being able to consolidate in such an incredible amount of information into only 8-hour-long episodes. It's like that's almost.
And you know, he probably wanted to do the first season in like 10 or 12, but Netflix is probably telling him like, yo, you're getting 8, make it work.
So,
you know what I mean?
So yeah, I'm just saying that he definitely did an incredible job. And especially like, you know, in the anime, I love the fight that Luffy had against the golden pirate, the guy with all the gold. He has all these
Creed,
weapons. Don Creed, because through that fight, you really see Luffy's tenacity. And Zeph even mentions it. He's like, those are the kind of people that you have to watch, because Luffy's over here like punching through spikes. Like, yeah, his power, Don Krieg is making Luffy's power mean nothing. And then you notice, oh no, Luffy's still whooping that ass, because he's just, it's more about his willpower than it is about his actual fantastical power.
Physicality versus his rubberness.
Another shout out to
I think that the showrunner decided to make a choice with that by saying, I'm rather using Krieg to make Mihawk look as badass as he is.
Yeah.
Because it was Krieg that he killed.
Yeah. So,
well, so Krieg actually in the anime did get his ass whooped by Mihawk, and he was coming running from Mihawk. Somehow survived. So this makes more sense that he didn't make it.
Yeah. So I think that's what he was like. I gotta put this. If I'm gonna include this character, I'm gonna put it to, because like in that little scene alone, I'm like, man, I don't know who the hell this guy is, but he's a badass with this cross sword and like that cannon coming over the shoulder. I was like, wow, this guy looks like, he's like, oh, you killed my fleet, my armada, everything. He was like, you woke me from my nap.
Yeah. That was consistent too. So yeah, I'm a fan, and I like how Arlong also wasn't introduced this early on, and I like that they've been slowly teasing him in slowly, and then here you get a full blast, full dose of him.
Yeah, it was a nicer mashup, because if you think about it, if we did the Don Krieg story midway, it would have separated a lot of things, and you know, Buggy being the reason Arlong found them was more tangible, more reasonable that this just happened versus like the long stretch of how it happened in the anime.
Definitely, you get this feeling that their biggest focus is with Arlong, so they're trying to tie everything with the fishman and his beliefs and everything with Nami. That's like the whole, when you guys get to the 7 and 8, that's the buildup. So it makes more sense than if they did it with Krieg. Most people would be like, why am I watching this? If like then you're seeing the other episodes and you're like, why did they introduce this big ass fight and he's gone? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I feel like that they decided to do with Mihawk, where it was a big ass fight and then he dies. So then he's done. So it's like, yeah, get him out of there. And now the focus, and like I think you got to see the resilience still with Arlong in the fighting, because how there's so much, they're strong, the skin and everything. And even Arlong saying it, he was like, oh, you got something in you. I could see it. So it was so much where he was like, yeah, he was feeling it.
It's definitely my favorite fight of Luffy so far in the live action.
You gotta wait.
Yeah, I can't wait. Because
it wasn't even a full fight. It was
exactly.
It was just a little script, but it was really cool, because the way that Arlong was introduced, it's like he was able to fully flesh out Arlong's characters and his belief, like Jacob was talking about, when he came in and he's in the Baratier looking down on the fisherman waiter.
Guy comes in hardcore, man.
I mean, come on. You go in there with your people all tough and you see one of your own as a waiter. That's gotta piss you off. Like,
and just the way he did it, he just like moved his head. He was like, oh, how it served me, huh? Interesting.
Yeah. It's almost like that scene with Once Upon a Time in Mexico. It's like, are you a Mexican?
Yeah.
Or a Mexican? Mexican. He's just like moving his face, like verification. Are you really all right?
Yeah, because then when because you could tell he's like angry at this guy who's like, yo, look, look at in the mirror who you are, your people. You should be stronger than this to not be a server. But this guy is probably like, who knows? He probably loves working for the Baratie. It's like, I didn't try to convince him of this. I'm not, I'm just doing slave work.
He wanted to have an Omni-Man moment, like, think, man, think.
Yeah, and he's like, yo, the Zephyrs treated me pretty damn good, man. What do you mean? I got a job.
Solid pay. You know how expensive, beyond these.
And this guy just comes in. Rah, like, get out of here.
Out here for a fish,
revolution.
I like how he just but he directed his anger towards the people who went on that speech and just started manhandling, just took control of the fucking room and just chilling. Everyone here is gonna die if I don't get what I want.
And everybody's super scared and quiet. Even the guy trying to speak up, he was like, I got nothing against your kind. They just start getting angrier.
Right. And that was a cool way to introduce the bias, the anger that he felt, because honestly, in the anime, you see Arlong and you understand like that he's an angry person, but you just think that he's a bad guy. It's not till much later that you understand in this world that fishmen are looked down upon. And like even now they're still kind of flushing it out. You're like, oh shit, really?
So and that's why exactly when he's telling me, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, really? I was like, yo, these guys are bulletproof and they're like treating them this bad in this world.
So much worse.
And I'm like, bro, I was like, man, you can understand, obviously I'm like, yo, forget this guy Arlong, he's a punk. But you can understand that viewpoint of him like trying to better his people that way because he's just fed up.
Right. Well, honestly, Arlong is actually not just a punk. I mean, he's a jerk at this point, but they give him some real good backstory later on that makes a lot of sense for his kind. So
yeah, I wonder if they
do he's that. Actually not a rationalist.
They probably don't go that deep in this live action, but I'm sure they're gonna. If the live action continues, like
if they come back, they're
definitely
later,
gonna touch on.
Later.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna touch on to with because they made it a point to really bring that in early with that the fishmen like how they live and everything. So they're setting up this way, especially when you get to episode 7 and you see Arlong with the Nami story. Nobody even cares. Future. I'm telling you, they could probably be like, I'm telling you, they could do a future season talking about Arlong's story being like abused as a child. Like, yo, after what I just saw in season 1, I don't care. Like what?
Yeah.
Like
Fishman, right?
I'm telling you, episode 7, they're gonna be like, what?
You know what? They have gills. They're guilty. How about that? Yeah, Fishman.
Man, I can't wait till you get to Zawadi's arc, man.
No, but
there'll be time for you.
I'm excited.
So much good stuff.
I'm excited to see Nami in the future episodes because we watched the anime, so I knew the story. So to see her from the beginning, it's like, oh, this makes sense. It makes sense that she's so standoffish, that she doesn't trust people, that she avoids responsibility, that she blames other, like she's
Nami.
Yeah. So like just to see everything build up, like and how the big reveal in this episode, I was like, wow, that was phenomenal.
Oh yeah. I was like,
it was as juicy as her booty was. I was like, she has a hidden booty. Like, she's all covered up. She's not like
you saw it in Akaya's castle.
Exactly. There was a time where she's like rummaging for stuff, and then she goes for the door, and you just see her butt just like, and I was like, what was that?
Yeah, she got that with those tennis skirts.
Oh,
it's like the tennis skirts. They cut off right there, and then you just see the thighs and the whole thing. You're like, okay.
Yeah, can't wait.
I'm telling you, man.
I'm real
treasure. It's good. It's looking good, man. I was really like, shocked when I was seeing that because they show it before when she's like talking to somebody and I'm like, okay, well, I know she's gonna be doing some betrayal shit. And then she comes out and I'm like, I knew I saw betrayal and I was like, but with this guy, man, I was like, damn. And then I see the story after it and I'm like, yo, what? I'm even more.
Yeah,
like yo, like come
man.
on.
And, with all that being said, the way that she was acting in the last episode and her and Zoro having that nice heart to heart, it makes sense that she was so upset that that Zoro was over here like possibly gonna die, and she was just and seeing her lash out against Luffy, like that was a great exchange. I mean, for one, they introduced like the story that she's reading is something that relates
Nolan
to
the Liar, yes.
Yeah, Nolan the Liar. It relates to something
that's what
much
you're telling
later.
me.
And I was like, oh, that's a beautiful way to introduce that. It's like part of the lore.
So there you go.
Like, yeah, this is great world building where I don't know, this is just a story. This is just one of those storybooks. I'm reading it, and then later on, you're gonna interact with something related to that. So it's almost like when stories start from the middle of the story, like that there's a past, but you don't really know the details of it, and then you find out
structurally building it properly.
Shit. Yeah. It's like, and this is like a subtle way of doing it by just there's a whole book about this, and then later on when you realize, when that gets revealed, you're just like, wait a minute. And you think back to this moment.
Spoilers.
And I think that is something that only the showrunner would have been able to do, because he's such a fan that even if it was somebody else doing it and they try to do their research on One Piece and it wouldn't come off the same. You could tell this guy he loves this anime so much. He's like, you know what? I'm trying to introduce it this way and here, and then also Oda, who's having a hand in a lot of it.
Right. I mean, I remember reading before anything came out. I remember reading something about Oda saying this wasn't good enough, and they had to refilm the scene, and everything got pushed back. And it was like, oh, it's supposed to come out this time. Why didn't it come out this time? I was like, listen, I don't. If the creator was like wrong, redo it. I'm like, I'm a fan. But not only that, it's incredible that the group that is filming it is responding to the creator's wishes, because usually someone writes something and they're so happy,
they don't give a shit.
Really, you're gonna make this into a film? Thank you so much. And then even if they mess it up, the writer might be like, hey, well, can we do this a little better? I wanted this to showcase.
No,
like, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. Right? I'm letting you did your job. Let me do mine. All right. You're here to give advice, not to tell me how to do my fucking job. It's cool that they have that humility and they're working together and that they're willing to accept. Okay, we could do this. To
be honest, I really don't even know if it's that humility section. I really think it's the top executives of Netflix. They see this as potentially their big show for the future, and they're trying to do everything they can to appease the audience.
You're right, because they don't have a long running show. You're right. I mean,
most of their good stuff ended. Yeah. Most of their good stuff ended, and you got to remember, they got so much flack from The Witcher. The Witcher is pretty much going to be dead in the water. So they don't think that they have that stuff in the back of their mind, and they're like, I got a creator telling me stuff. Maybe let's put it in, because we don't want another one blowing up in our face.
Yeah. But at the same time, I don't have as much faith in the Netflix executives, because it wasn't just The Witcher. It wasn't just Bebop live action. It wasn't just like there's a
I know. I know exactly.
And I'm just like, that's under
they're putting their chips in this one for sure. That's a good thing.
That's what I mean. It's like you said, it was a ton of them. I was just saying the most recent, but I think that a lot of it is that they're like, bro, we have to make this one right, especially the Bebop. The Bebop one is the biggest one, because they spent so long with that even before Netflix picked it up. So and then when Netflix got it, it was even more in tandem in years. So and then how disappointing and ridiculous.
Yeah. And that was a low bar. Like we've done science fiction space movies. We've done westerns. So like just marriage those two together. Or we don't have that budget. Fine. Let's just do a western with these characters. Add a couples, but they just back to One Piece.
It was so bad that I could feel that most people, when they were saying that One Piece was coming out live action, people were like, bro, how are you going to be able to do that? A lot of people didn't trust it. They're like, no way. They're like, no way. And then it was like, Netflix? Are you kidding me? Maybe if it was HBO, but Netflix, after what I just seen. That's what I'm telling you, that like the Netflix people are like, yo, this guy, not only is he on board, he wants to be on board. It's not like you're doing something and like, hey, we need to put
Yeah,
your
nice.
name on it.
I'll take the proceeds. I'm here for the payout. It's like, no, he
And
wants to.
we'll give you a little here and there, but like this is our show. You know what I mean? It feels like more they're like, no, you get all creative control. The showrunner, they picked a super fan like you guys that really wants to convey it. So they're like, look, we need to get everything we can that loves it, that loves this anime to bring it to everybody else.
Right. And that's the thing. I can't trust what people say. I can't trust, but I could trust what they do.
Exactly.
And by seeing the show, like I know that it was treated with care. I know that this was treated by a team of people who care about the quality of the show. And that means the world to me. Like you could say, oh, well, this person was the best person for this role. You could say I spent 8 to 10 hours training to do X, Y, and Z. You could say, oh, well, I'm actually a world-class chef. They could say whatever. Like they could, oh, the Spaniard, Mexican connection, the Atlantic. It's like, oh yeah, the Spaniard saved the Mexican who's drowning. Yeah, it's like, or you could say, we hang out afterward. Oh, I spend this many times out. Like, oh, well, I really care about I watched it when I was a kid. You could say whatever the fuck you want to say. I'm not gonna believe you.
But until you see the result.
These are the facts. One Piece was the top selling manga, anime, movie, live action. You had no way to lose.
I'm telling you, it feels great when I'm seeing like they go to like the building of like the the studio of the or when they're making them where they make them One Piece Bleach. You're talking to the artists, and the artists alone, they're like, look, these were the first draft copies from the manga, and when they're doing the episode, they literally take these as a script. You're hearing the actual artist working on it. Oda himself is like, I seeing these audition tapes. This is it. Like I see it. Like it's like you see the artist spent years doing something, and then he always had something else in the back of his mind. Was like, man, I have this vision of wanting to do it real. And you have your, just like when there's other things, people have dream casts of actors, like of something else that hasn't come out. You have a dream cast in mind in your head. So he had the same thing. He's like, I have this vision, and I have a dream cast in mind of what I want for these characters. And then you're seeing the people are showing the tapes, and he's like, wow, this is like, maybe it wasn't exactly what he was picking up, but like he's like, this is it. This is where you could tell that he probably loves this so much more, bringing this to the screen.
Yeah, for sure. And with that same passion, like I felt like I think Nami is one of the better actors. Or at least she showcased herself as one of the better actors. So that exchange with Luffy when she's talking about you could have stopped this, you could have made the decision. And Luffy, why is everybody talking to me? Because you could have stopped it. And then you see that back and forth, and you see Luffy, showcase what took so long, or that they keep reinforcing throughout the anime. He just explicitly says it. I'll do anything to save my friends, except for stand in the way of their dream.
Exactly.
I was just like, yo.
I definitely think I think definitely in the first 6 episodes, that actress of them, she's done a lot more emotionally wise, because Luffy, the actor, I'm not saying it's bad, but he's got his character of what he's doing.
Right.
And Zoro is doing good, but Zoro is also very like,
his character
that's part of who they're playing as well.
Exactly. That's what I mean. So like far,
Nami was in the series like, half-ass on being part of the team, and like, I don't know why these guys think I'm part of the team.
Right.
So not till that Mihawk, incident did he really like say, I'll be the number one no matter what. And they're growing into their characters, but they're already established in their characters as actors. Like I could see when I see him playing as Luffy, like I could see the cheer, the fun, the absolute like I don't care what's the normal here. I'm gonna go do this because I want to.
And like it's like I'm feeling it. And then when they show the backstory with Shanks, what I was selling, like people that don't even watch anime and they're seeing this, I'm like, it looks so good because this is like probably I can't imagine seeing anything live action where it's like that belief of like that bond of friendship, that like loving with like that, that mindset. He's like, the dream, going for your dream, and someone that just fights for their friends. Like it's like I haven't seen that in mostly anything recently, to be honest. I'm like Luffy, like that actor, that character, everything is like there's nothing bad. Like he hasn't done anything that's like evil. This guy is like an ultimate, like, do-gooder for peace, like not for peace, but like he's like believed so much in helping his friends
go-getter for what he wants.
And dream.
So I mean, I guess it's unfair to say that Nami was like the better actor. I just mean that she has the most challenging emotional role, and I think she's fulfilling it very well, which made the payoff in this episode so much more.
Absolutely, especially
she's
when
definitely had more scenes. She's definitely had a lot more to go.
Well, even before like this episode, like when you see it coming from like with the Kaya exchange into Zoro and her having that exchange over drinks, and then to like now with Arlong popping in, like she's gone through that emotional roller coaster and she's been carrying this weight like it was nothing. Like, I got
telling you. And then episode 7, and now when episode 7 comes and it's all about her backstory and everything, I'm telling you, it's just if you're just gonna see, you're seeing a buildup. You see the buildup of her acting and emotion, and then you're like, wow, like someone who hasn't seen her, like, man, this is the reason. I get it now. I get like, know, and then you see her, even the actress, she puts it well. She does it all. Like, I know you said scenes in the anime, they're like, oh, particular scenes and what she does, and I'm like, yo, they do it, and it's like you see, it doesn't look fake. It looks as like emotion as can be. It doesn't look cheesy or corny, or you're like, what the hell's going on? I'm seeing, I can understand a frustration and anger of what happened and why she feels this way and what she's doing. And then even
I'm excited now to watch that episode.
You gotta watch it.
It's gonna happen, but I know what's gonna happen, so I'm that much more excited.
I'm excited to see it. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
That's why I think I come to these recordings with so much glee, because I'm like, I know right after this, I get to watch the next episode.
Right?
So like, I can't. So I'm excited for it. But like, speaking about that passion and like the love and fulfilling, like pushing toward your dream, this episode, what they did really well, not just the backstory of Sanji,
killing around and lying.
Say again.
Usopp's life. Yeah, no. Man, I pushed them away.
No. Sanji's and no, Usopp. This last the last episode, but seeing Zeph and Sanji's relationship, not just the backstory, but like right now, like you saw, Zeph critiquing everything
and everything. He's like,
eggs are too runny. I can tell without even like just by glancing, this thing needs more oregano, and he just kind of glances up and he's like, oregano. It's like, oh, it's a haha. Oh, that's a cute little line. But then you see, that's how they met. That's how he was in hiding, and then he's like, "What are you doing to my sauce? Oregano sandwiches? What the?"
It was like a little boy ready to stab him because of that.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, what?
And then you see like the passion he has for his dream and why Zeph support. I was like, oh man, that was great.
And I'm telling you.
That scene when you find out that Zeph just gave him the food, even though I knew,
I know.
When I knew, I was just like, man,
when I saw that, I felt like, because I'm telling you, like, you could watch anything, like the animes, they're so heartfelt and emotional, but when I see it done right in live action, I was like, damn, like you see the actor, when he stabs it, and then you see the treasure come out, I'm like, wow, this guy gave him all the food, man.
Yeah. And then
he says it in the scene. He's like, "This is all the food we have," like, and throws in the bag. Yeah. So he says it.
That delivery of why the traumatizing of like, I know I don't have much time, but I want you to fulfill this dream because I know you have the same dream as I do. It's just like, God damn it, I can't.
And then I'll tell you, I was so surprised because at first when I was seeing it, before they brought out the leg thing, in my head, I'm thinking because it's that adaptation of anime, I was like, wow, Zeph is such a badass. This guy fasted all these days without eating it. Because it's fantasy. So I was like, they could do that. So I was like, man, this guy just didn't eat or barely drank anything. And then I'm like, wow. that's even more hardcore. Showing that, I was like, oh man.
I like how like they had the music going a little bit, and then when Sanji realizes like, wait, what happened? Did you eat your leg? And then all the music stops. Like it's just kind of real quiet and awkward for a while, and he doesn't say shit. He's just sitting there.
Even the guys playing the instruments, they're like, what? Oh shit! Oh, did he just eat his leg? That's not in the script, guy.
I'm telling you, man, that guy just went like all Hannibal on himself.
Yeah,
but I like how he was able to help Zoro, and that whole exchange were like, oh, we never let it turn into we're apprehensive about, not just Netflix, they're gonna mess up another one, but because One Piece is so fantastical, there's so much wild, goofy.
That's
shit
what I mean. Yeah,
that they're just like,
how?
No, can't even even with all the technology we have, like,
and that's why when I see Garp, when they show Garp, showing his strength, I don't even think of it as lame or fake. I'm like, I'm watching this show knowing that stuff exists like this.
Yeah.
And already, I don't need to see him crushing a mountain to see what I saw. I was like, well, this guy just has super strength. I got it. I got it.
He threw cannonballs.
I was like, I got it. This guy is super strength, because this guy, when he's fighting the Luffy, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Because like, I mean, they kind of, I guess with the cannonball earlier, I think episode 5 or so, like that kind of show off the strength, because it's like a shot put, and like shot put or like denser than a shot put, and shot put is like, oh wow, the Olympics, people are like, wow, that was like 60 feet. This guy blasted it across to the next ship. It's like, that's way further, but it's still not like. So I'm excited to see that. So but yeah, that's good. That's good. But I really like his exchange with Colby, because Colby's kind of like this moral compass and trying to be like, oh, that's what I really want, and I really want to be the best kind of Marine. And like seeing their whole exchange about like, well, he knows what he is, and Garth's like, well, sometimes you have to make these kind of decisions, because it's kind of gray area. And Kobe's like, nah. And
that's cool. Why I'm like, Kobe, shut up. This guy, listen to him. I'm like, yo, I'm getting mad. I'm like, you just got here, man. What the hell do you know about having a moral compass yet? But I do get it. If he stays strong, if he stays determined with that, I like it. But I just like when Garp is telling him, like, yo, just get out of here. Like, you like, he should be lucky he's there with Garp. I don't know why. He's just
I know that your experience with Roanna messing with our connection, Two Guns and Butch, you're used to operating in the gray area.
Gotcha.
But some people join like law enforcement for like super idealistic reasons, or with super idealistic ideas of how
like the sense of justice, and
then they team up with the dude from Training Day, and they're just like, this is not what I. And it's like the shock of that. It's like to see, because Garp is like one of these heroes in the Marines, so like to see him as this kind of jaded character is like kind of oh no, but he doesn't really judge him for it. He's just kind of like, hey, this is what I think, this is how I feel. So
hopefully they just make Kobe, like, I know you say he becomes a badass, he gets stronger later. It's just like when I see this actor, I like, they picked a good actor to look like a little like
nervous little thick.
Because like when I get angry at somebody with that stature, like talking this way, I'm like, bro, at least have some muscles if you want to. If you want to stand by being like a Law and Order Justice. I was like, show that you can like fight against it.
Have some presence. Like he does a great job. Like the way he walks around and doesn't use his arms, like he's like doesn't want to inconvenience the wind. Like, he does such a good job of playing this.
I'm telling you, like he's definitely acting well, because like I don't like this guy. Just like Usopp, he's doing a good job, because I'm like, this guy is such a little bitch. I was like, why is he acting? I'm like, come on, because like that's why I tell you, I've already liked Zoro because he's he's a swordsman, and I like Sanji because of how he's doing well with the kicking and the cooking, and then their chemistry already. But then it's like I see Usopp and I get it, that's supposed to be him. But I was like, man, he's doing it really well, because if I'm feeling this kind of like mild hatred, because I'm seeing these badasses and you're acting like this, Come on, get that slingshot out, man. He needs to do it faster.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that you say that because oh man, Usopp just like if it continues, then it's almost he's playing a really good role right now, and it's gonna have like a huge payoff later on if they get that far. But also the fact that Zoro's my favorite character, but the thing is that Sanji is this guy's favorite character, so it's kind of funny.
I'm telling you, I was telling Robert, I always go for the swordsman, but Sanji, the actor, like I was reading up about him, and that's what I'm saying. I get it. I get what you said with the backstory stuff. It's hard to believe, but I feel like only somebody who gets a role like this, who shows the commitment that this actor did, would have made it possible. Because the actor himself took taekwondo classes, judo classes, cooking classes so much that he actually loves cooking now, and he stayed in character method acting to cook for the set.
You're telling me you wouldn't watch this if Nicolas Cage played
I don't know. He has that face.
If we're doing that cast, then we gotta do it all the way around, man. I need John Travolta as Garp.
Yes.
I'm telling you, I need if he was still alive, I'll be like Sean.
Nick Fury as Usopp. We're good.
I'm telling you, man.
L. Jackson. He's the only one who can play Usopp. Come on, guys.
That's it.
But man, I like that he was when the whole scene was healing Zoro when he just came in. He's like, "Oh yeah, I need the best whiskey in this fish," and like, "Oh, this is for me." I was like,
"Hell no, waste of a good bourbon."
So this is the best one. Like, the fuck, nah. But with the fish skin, I never thought about it. I mean, like, I know fish is super healthy with like, especially if you get it when it's not farm raised, where like they have one of the best sources of omega-3 and
it made sense what he was describing, like the skin, like it helps healing and avoid infection, everything.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you have. That's what's available. I know, like we use pig skin a lot with surgeries and stuff like that, with like burns and stuff, but ain't too many pigs out in the middle of the ocean. Plenty of sea. I mean, plenty of sea. Yeah, plenty of fish in the sea. So yeah, it was cool to see that. I never even thought about that as an option.
I think it was like an older like pirate thing to have those type of remedies during those times. Because you got to remember, they're out in the sea. They're talking about things from like ages beyond where we're from, and it's like you have to figure out what type of natural remedies can actually help you with seasickness, scars, chips, whatever. So that really played a well part into like the pirate era.
Yeah. But man, oh shit, I forgot to really dive into the whole. No,
you don't have to forget. You can still
did we talk about Nami versus Luffy, like that whole exchange? But yeah, we did. Never mind.
Weren't you gonna talk about Buggy?
Oh yeah, Buggy. That's it.
How it ties in perfectly. Just bringing the whole story around where he's at, like getting Arlong there made sense. How else would he have gotten it?
Right. The
whole but great.
They're showing the goofiness that you said that happens in the anime a lot. So you see the joking part that he's doing now. I was like, okay, so he's a villain. He's supposed to be like, great villain, but you could see doing the corny jokes and stuff like that. It's like, hey, Lips, how about a drink or some shit?
He has the best. I think he has the best one-liners thus far. When he's just like, "Oh, you destroyed the town. You took everything. I didn't take their hands."
Yeah.
And then, like in this one, it's like, "I have eyes and ears everywhere." It's like, oh my god. And the guy like, "Oh, you want me to point them in the right direction?" I was like, "I fucking can't, yo." Favorite character.
Just wait till the finale, man. Just wait till the finale because he's supposed to help them. He's supposed to help them fight, and what he says is hilarious.
Okay. I'm excited. It's cool to see that he vibes with Anakin. He's over here like, "Oh no, it's dark. It's sandy." I was like, sand, of course. Little Star Wars joke. but shit, man. Yeah, that was cool. And the last thing I really want to touch on was just all the, how Luffy was dealing with Zoro being hurt and how and Zoro when he woke up. You know, the whole, you know, Luffy's just trying to process, oh yeah, you know, he likes these things and yeah, can you
Yeah,
make
he's
this?
like he doesn't know yet how to be a real captain. That's why Sanji was telling him, he's like, yo, you got to make the tough call.
Yeah, yeah. But it was cool because you saw that he had already made the tough call. Like he's already cemented in his philosophy. Like I will do everything to
Well,
help my
he made
friends.
the call, but
I won't get
he was
between
struggling
you
with
and
the
your dream.
idea that it was his fault that he made that call
Yeah.
because of what
Right,
Nami was
right.
doing to him
Like, or
mentally.
he took ownership, which was cool. Like, it's not like, oh, maybe I was wrong. It's like, no, I still feel the way that I feel, but it's my fault. So that's on me. I'm the one that made the call. It's on me.
This was
You
the only way Zoro could have actually achieved his dream. Otherwise, he would have been lost forever. Um,
right, but
he
it was
was not going to meet Mihawk if he didn't go with Luffy.
Yep.
right, right. But
That
it's
showed
cool
him
that
that he's like, this is possible.
right. Not
Exactly.
only is it possible, but my captain will never get between me and my dream. Like he knows that. I think if it's between like Zoro, I need your help to fight this guy because if I beat this guy, I'll become pirate captain. I'll become king of the pirates. Or like if that means that he has to sacrifice his dream because he can't fight this other guy he knows that. I think he has the faith in Luffy. Like Luffy's gonna let me do what I want. He really values me as a friend. He values my dreams, and he won't even if he thinks this is I'm not like or Luffy said I didn't think he would lose, but I'm sure if he challenged Mihawk tomorrow, he wouldn't get in his way. He's like, that's your dream. I got you do it. You know, so it's cool to see. It's like that's how a real friend is supposed to be. You know, not you know, I don't know, man. I don't think you should. Like, hey, that's your dream. Okay, I support it. This is what I feel. This is what I think. But you know, I'm behind you 100%. And I'm
And
not gonna get in the way.
I think it even built more after that because then he decides to confront Arlong because they could have left. They're like, yo, we gotta get because even Nami said, like, we gotta get out of here. But then he's like, no, that was being a captain. He's like, I'm standing up for what I believe in. We gotta help these people. They helped us. Like he's standing
Yeah,
strong.
yeah. And you see Sanji's dedication to Zeph because he just all the calculated in his head is Zeph and the Barati are in trouble. And so like
Yep.
Luffy's like, oh, I'm gonna jump in. And he's like, wait, why are you helping? I'm like, what do you mean? Why is he helping? He's the whole reason why Arlong's here. It didn't even register in his head because he's just Zeph's in trouble. I gotta go.
That's it.
So
And then
it's just
do you like the kicks?
yes, that's what the other thing I was gonna say. The action I thought it was like, oh, it's gonna be cheesy because Sanji's a difficult character to translate into a live action. And
There's two big things. He can't hit women and he doesn't use his hands. So he really articulated the fact that he didn't really like punch somebody because that's like a difficult thing when you're in like the move of action.
to be
And
clear, that's not what I'm saying is the hard part. I don't think not hitting women is the hard part.
Actually, you did. You have.
I'll say a lot of bad shit, but that's not.
I don't know, Rob. Getting to the dirty side.
I think it's just like the way he's trying to embody it well, like with the suit, having his hands in the pockets. Like when they show when him and Zoro fight, he's doing it like how I see him fight in the anime. Like he's having the hands in his pockets and he's doing some flips, he's doing like the spinning around trying to be flashy.
That's
And
dope.
he emphasized in an interview, he was like, because they haven't even brought that up yet, that like why he's not using his hands. But he's talking, he's like, his hands are too valuable that he can't use them. They're meant for cooking. They didn't bring up the other one, not hitting women yet, but that was that big one. And he was like, my main weapons are my feet. So I had to devote myself training to make it look as authentic as possible. So like he even said it. He was like, when I first started, I could barely even like raise my foot, like leg up to do a kick. He's like, now I could do a whole battle axe kick like above my head. And I was like,
time. You need that flexibility. That it's hard.
And that's what I mean. And it goes beyond like certain things when you say you don't want to hear stuff like that or you don't believe it, but like you gotta be like in the flexible. You gotta be someone who trains to do this. So like to hear somebody say it in a way where he didn't say it like, you know, we did the training like, you know, just to do it. he did it, and he's like, now he's like, I'm training 8 to 10 hours a day. He's like, they showed him kicking like, you know, the some punching bags and dummies, and he was like, I have to put everything in this to look great, because like I can't use my hands at all. So it's like, and obviously the choreographer, the guy that is doing it, he's like, we gotta try to tie in some of the capoeira moves, some like jujitsu, taekwondo, to like really fit it in there. So I was like, look, that an actor that's like not just on board with it, but is actually enjoying it. That's what you need, because you can get tons of actors that are on board with things. Like you just said, like Nicolas Cage will do any film imaginable if you pay him the money. But to actually get somebody to like really love it too is like, oh, that's what you like.
Right. And to your point, I'll say that, you know, the reason why I was worried about Sanji is because the fight scenes thus far were like, okay, you're capturing that moment, but I'm not seeing a lot of effort. I'm not seeing a lot of fluidity. I'm not seeing a lot of like some parts are even a little rigid, some parts a little too cartoony. Some of them are really like 80s kung fu type of thing.
Yeah.
So with Sanji coming up, I was like, oh man, I hope they don't butcher this. When I saw him, I was like, no, he's actually and it's one thing to say, I've done this, I practiced this, or I trained this hard. It's like, but like the results speak for everything. So when I saw it, I was like, no, that was him.
Like because you train, so you know what it takes to do kicks. So like you're seeing it, and you're like, oh, and then they show videos of him training too, with like you know sparring. So I'm like, okay, well this guy just ain't no pushover. Who's like, you know,
when someone says, oh, I train 8-10 hours a day, I'm like, okay. But when he took off, when I saw him when he went to say,
see,
this guy's in phenomenal shape. I was not expecting that. I mean, everybody in the show's in shape, but Sanji is built. And that was not something I thought was, what?
He just takes cooking to the next level.
I'm telling you. And that in itself is big, because that goes along with method acting, for someone to still stay in character, and they're doing it for the crew members, and the crew members, like I can only imagine they're probably having a good time, him like trying to explain things like Sanji would, or just like doing like oh, and someone probably trying to joke with him saying, put some oregano in it, and he's like, no, you savage, get away.
Yeah, you know, that's the one thing I don't like about Sanji. I was like, how do you not like oregano? I was like, you disrespectful piece of shit, putting your little souffle on your, you know, stupid ass fucking
Zoro lover over here. It's okay.
Yeah, right.
Oregano is so essential. What are you talking about? Like, you know, when
it's
you
for
cook
savages. Like, did you not hear him?
Oh man, maybe I'm just a fucking savage. Maybe that's
you are.
It's funny because
I don't mind being called a savage. I mind that he doesn't put oregano in his food.
He doesn't need it.
They even
I
said,
hope he becomes a savage later on.
Usopp. It was funny because the actor that played Usopp was saying, he was like, man, from where you started, I remember you always inviting us over to your room to like putting fucking mushrooms in a dry cooker or an air cooker to like try it out, and they're all laughing, and even like not like they're like, oh my god, he's like, oh, you remember the mushrooms? He's like, yeah, I remember the mushrooms. It's like they were all like, okay, we're gonna be guinea pigs and try to help you out and give you like actual critiques about cooking.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so this guy is getting into it.
You know, I wonder if that's like
the dangerous thing about like getting into the actors, like Rob was saying, like things can happen to people, dude. Like, you know, they might just be like, yeah, this was great, but I'm not doing this anymore. And that's one thing that Rob and I like try not to follow into so deep. Because it's like you fall in love with that character and that actor, and then it's just like when it's taken away, like the Henry Cavill thing in The Witcher.
I know. That's why I'm so mad. I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna watch this show anymore. I'm not gonna if this continues. I was like, that's ridiculous. So then also, like, I know that they gotta do contracts and it's like written agreements, but like to hear them also say their commitment to the show, like the guy that I told Robert that Zoro, his favorite anime is Hunter x Hunter, and he even said that they approached him and he was like, I will not star in Hunter x Hunter because I got to be devoted to One Piece, because this is like, I'm here now with my thing. And Nami, and even the actress played Nami, I know it's like people just saying things, it could be a lie, but she was like, look, if this is the only job the only credit I have in my acting career, like I would be happy with this if One Piece was in.
Well, I mean,
it's only the best
anybody's
fiction
gonna
ever.
get offers, if anyone's gonna get any offers after this, like I'm sure Nami will get one of the biggest.
She's gonna get something.
Probably already has. Already
I
has.
mean,
Season 1's over. She already has.
And
yeah,
Luffy has done some things in Mexico, so I know he's already gotten to get stuff. But sure, I think her and Sanji are definitely gonna get like gigs offered to them because, like you said, he's like,
if anyone, Usopp's gonna shine a lot because he really played a smooth Usopp that no one expected.
Yeah,
like
he was
from the get go.
It was beautiful. He was but I think Kaya is my favorite actress so far. She was really played that, like even like at some point, like really playing that sick role, or like when Claude like appeared behind her.
I forgot. Rob's favorite character, Jacob. Rob's favorite character so far in the live action is actually Kabeji. He played his part.
Oh, fuck that guy! No. The fucking unicycle
when he came
guy
on the unicycle, Rob was just like going bananas. He loved it. He was just like, this one played the best character.
That guy's a fucking joke. That guy should quit acting right now. Fucking joke. Him and whoever the fuck put that shit together and thought that was a good idea, fired.
The unicycle?
Yeah. Because it's not the fact that he's on a unicycle, but it's like
when you saw him, it was just
nah, man.
I believed it. I believed every second of it.
Yo, it was like the fucking opposite. Like, this guy over here, yeah, you killed my brother. Remember that? So now I'm gonna spin you around in a little merry-go-round and throw knives and miss every single one. Take me seriously.
Rob's favorite character.
I don't believe what you said. What you're doing doesn't match up to what you said. You're not a serious person. Like, you were more intimidating when you shut your fucking mouth. So here's some advice.
I'm going on Amazon right now and getting you his outfit for Halloween.
I'm telling you, man, that was it did make me like, oh man, I thought Buggy was gonna be like had a fearsome crew of serial killers. Like, I see this guy, I was like, yeah, he's just I don't feel scared about them anymore.
That's who they are. They play their characters, you know. They're clowns.
I think I like Kaya the most, then Buggy, and then Nami, and then I don't know, but those are my top 3 favorite thus far. But overall, love the show. Excited to watch the next episode. This was a recording.
So none of you guys have seen 7 or 8 yet?
I don't know.
I've been trying not to watch ahead because Rob's like, "Oh, you're gonna mix everything." And I'm like, "All right."
I told Rob to watch ahead, and he tells me he doesn't watch ahead because he's waiting for you guys. So if all you guys are on board, then everybody watch it ahead.
No,
well, I know for me it'll be hard to talk about it. It'll be hard for me to compartmentalize because I already have what's going on in the anime in my head. Then if I factor in when I add that to, okay, well, this is what happened in the live action. And then I try to factor and compartmentalize, oh, well, this was episode 7, not episode 6. Oh, shit, I said something. And we're supposed to be talking about episode by episode. So it would be, I know for me, it would be impossible for me to talk about it without, while
bringing up the other ones that you see.
Before even saying for you, it has so much depth per episode that, like, in this episode, we had so many stories, so many movements, so many emotions going through, like, Zoro, Nami, Sanji with Zeph, Luffy, Usopp. Like, it had so much that we can't just mash them together and think it's gonna work. There's so much to dive into. We gotta go by the little slices of onions and whatnot.
But now you can watch. Now you can watch episode 7 and be like, oh my god! And I thought episode 6 was great. They're doing it again. They're doing it again. Because episode 7 is Nami's backstory, some key scenes, like, showing, like, the emotional exchange where her and Luffy. So it's like they do it really well. And that episode is where I saw the actor play Luffy. Was like, okay, I know he's goofy. That's supposed to be his demeanor. And he does, like, he's had moments like, no, he's got to follow his dream. But in episode 7 is him showing, doing a good job being serious. Was like, no. I'm gonna help you. Like, this is it. Like, you're not gonna be.
I saw him get, like, I mean, this is from the beginning. Like, in the anime, he's like
Luffy's character is like ha ha ha, and he's like he's a stupid, goofy kind of character, but he's super passionate. I like that. Like in episode 1, you could see this is a very different Luffy. Like they still captured the spirit of Luffy, but he's not laughing. I don't think I've ever heard him laugh once. But it's cool because he's still conveying the happiness, and instead of being over the top goofy, it's just like, oh, he's just happy about life, but he listens to what people say and he takes things seriously, and he understands social cues. So he's a much more different, more intelligent Luffy, and I think that makes for a better character. It would have been really weird if you translated him directly from anime. People would have been like, what the fuck is up with
and
this
it's
guy?
funny, that was something that the people like the anime, they purposely said, they're like, look, we didn't want him to be like how he was in the anime, because like that goofiness, they wanted to make him seem more realistic
more
with his ideals. So I was like,
so
okay,
I mean, I liked it. That being said, I love the anime, but I also love the live action. I think the live action is beautiful on its own, and I think it's also a beautiful marriage, complementary dish to the anime, and that's incredibly difficult to do. So it's just I've been impressed all the way throughout. They've done so much. They've consolidated. They've creatively found ways to be able to tell the story, and it's great.
I'm telling you.
But yeah,
I'm just glad I'm making more One Piece fans everywhere.
That being said, if you guys like this recording as much as we like this series, then you're gonna have to press that subscribe button, and that way you'll be able to support us. Now we know, hey, we're doing a good job. I guess we should go out on this journey, hop on this boat and actually
hop on the ship.
There you go.
Yeah.
Go Mary.
If you wanna hear every time that we have something going on, click the bell notification. We got stuff going on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever the fuck, Reddit,
whatever.
Follow us everywhere. Same name, Daddy's Gritty Library. Whatever.
Especially that part.